The Necas contract good yet? Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche Postgame Show, live from the Toyota Lounge, Winners Lounge even, and powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships and presented by Bet365. We got Bailey and Rudo here breaking it down as the Avs win 4-2 over the Vegas Golden Knights. Brent Burns gets your game-winning goal, by the way.
Nice goal out there.
Yeah, good to get the first one. Monkey off the back, you know.
Yeah.
It's may also be my last NHL goal.
Is that straight out of the locker room?
Hopefully not Brent Burns' last NHL goal, though.
Hopefully not.
A really good win. I think, personally, I feel extremely positive top to bottom about this win, even if there are a few things to nitpick or errors that the Avs need to clean up. But Bailey, what's your initial reaction to this one?
It's really nice to get the win right out. Mm-hmm. I will say that's kind of the first one. And not only that, but I mean, you look at this game, yes, obviously, again, there aren't things to nitpick. But overall, this was a really solid game top to bottom for this Avalanche group. I think Wedgwood had a really, really good game. That first goal, maybe, I mean, we'll get into that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Whatever. But otherwise, again, your goaltender's solid. Your top line is buzzing. Marty Necas with 3 points on the night, earning that contract to its fullest. I really like this one from the group.
Me too. I think it's a good builder. Let's start off with a 60-second rundown, though, before we really start to dig into the nitty-gritty of this one. Avs start on time. 40 seconds in, Marty Necas puts one in the back of the net to get the Avs go up 1-0. They would lead for the rest of the game. Game would never even get back to tied from there. There was a good amount of sloppiness both ways, but I think you can describe the majority of this game as the Avs being the less sloppy team of the two throughout the night on a weird matinee game. You're up 1-0 at the end of the first. You go out in the second, not quite as early, but pretty early on in the second. You make it 2-0 off of a great penalty kill that leads to Brock Nelson getting sprung up the ice. He finishes on a breakaway to make it 2-0. You love that. Your second line getting involved. We said they needed it. They got it. It's 2-0 after 2. You go into the third period. Penalties were a bit of an issue for the Avs, and it finally catches up with them in the third. A power play goal for Vegas to make it 2-1. The Avs punch back. Brent Burns gets on the board to make it 3-1. Vegas then scores a fluky one to make it 3-2, but the Avs hold it together, get the empty netter for a 4-2 final.
Nice.
Again, it's not that the Avs played perfect. I don't think the Avs played A-plus hockey, although I do think they were very good for stretches of this game. But with any game, it's about beating the team in front of you, and they were pretty clearly the better team tonight compared to Vegas.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that's really, ideally in a perfect world, if you were the better team, you want to be coming out of this one with a win. And I think especially given the history between these two teams when it comes to record, this is one the Avalanche really kind of needed to prove they are, worthy against a top team in the NHL.
Yeah, well, and that's a really interesting conversation because 2 games ago, we're sitting here saying the Avs haven't won against the top team in the league. And now in back-to-back games, they just beat the team at the top of the East, and Vegas, by points percentage, was the team at the top of the West until it's now the Avs by winning in regulation in this game. Yeah. So the Avs don't have that knock against them anymore with these last 2 games.
No, and I'd go to wager, again, we talk about that 10-game stretch being a heavy experimentation period. You're now kind of out of that. And ideally, this is where you see a very raw form of your game, but it's the game that you've worked on over 10 games and started to solidify a little bit. I don't think any sort of, by happenstance that this is, a team capable of beating a top team. I think when you see a Dallas, a Carolina down the road, this is a team that can come out on the other side with 2 points.
Definitely. They're absolutely that good. We can start from the back end and work out. Scott Wedgwood does give up 2 goals tonight, but I have really zero problems there. Yes, the goalie gives up on the power play in the third is probably one he wants back. It slips under his pad. I'm sure he would like that one back, but I'm not willing to knock a goalie who keeps Vegas 1 for 6 on the power play. You give them enough power plays, they're going to score eventually. That's all that is.
That's not on him.
Right.
At all in any way. And again, you're talking about a goaltender who for a better part of the game read this puck really, really well.
Yep.
Talking about a goaltender who maybe hasn't had a great go of it the last couple games that he's played. Maybe seeing a little bit of a shaky, fatigued Wedgwood. This was a really solid version of Scott Wedgwood tonight. And I think the biggest thing to note here is, he kept your team in it. Some of those solid reads are the reason your team never trails.
Yeah. If he lets in goals, you are trailing. That's how that works. But I just have no issue at all with anything Wedgwood did in this game. We already talked about that one. The second goal is straight up silly bounce.
There's nothing he can do about that one.
I have no expectation of Wedgwood to stop that puck. And like you said, you made all the saves you needed. This game was 2-0 after 2 periods of hockey. Not in small part because Wedgwood made multiple fantastic saves on penalty kills and otherwise. So, job absolutely done for him. He sets the Avs up in a great position where Blackwood gets to start tomorrow. And it gets to be a bit of a free roll because the Avs won this first half of the back-to-back.
Back-to-back's a really interesting situation because, best case scenario is 4 points, right?
Yeah.
But if you come out of it with 2 against
especially
a situation
on the road.
Right, on the road, but you're playing against a team that's having some, success offensively, but overall is really not a great points percentage team.
They are not.
And then the Vegas Golden Knights. And I think being able to take out the 2 against the better of those 2 teams sets up not only, obviously you don't want to let off the gas. You want to come out of it with 4 points. But this is an okay case scenario for this team. And you're going into it with the knowledge that Mackenzie Blackwood returns to the team officially tomorrow.
Yep.
And that takes a monkey off of his back of having to go out there and get you the sole 2 points that you're taking home.
Yeah, it should be a big confidence building game for the Avs across the board. I really do think that. The only real major negative I'm taking from this game is the penalties. And even that, I hear you. A lot of soft stuff got called. Not the best reffing in the world. The Avs also got away with a couple of plays that probably should have been penalties in this game. I can live with the first handful. By the third period, you should have a good read on how the game is getting called. And the Avs still put themselves in that tough position. If not for a makeup call the other way, they had themselves down to a 5-on-3. That is the one part of the game where I feel like they didn't set themselves up for success.
No, I imagine with the way things were being called so far, discipline is obviously a talking point when you go back into that locker room for the second intermission. And coming back out and starting the way that they did. You talked about it on the watch along, is this is one area of their game that they have to control in order to officially be the better team. And you see that you see that it comes to bite them. Yep. And ultimately, yes, they're able to pull out of this one. This is not a habit they can fall into. Yes, their penalty kill is insane.
Unbelievably good tonight. Yeah.
Incredibly outstanding tonight, but it's not going to be like that every single night. And so there's going to come a time where that is going to come to bite them in a way that they may not be able to crawl out of. They're able to get away with it tonight, but it's not a habit I want them to get used to.
Yeah, 6 penalties is just too many. Giving up a 5-on-3 ever is not what you want.
What's interesting today, though, too, is looking at the media site, Vegas is still listed 0 for 6 on the power play.
Okay, well, they were definitely 1 for 6.
Yeah.
But
So I don't know. So maybe it counts for something officially where stats are concerned. I don't know if there's a little floof there, but yeah, to go 1 for 6 on that is impeccable.
In fairness, it was a weird 4-on-3 situation of a power play too, so I don't know that you can even really fault the penalty kill for that.
Right. I think it's more of a testament to, yes, maybe the 5-on-3 didn't last as long as they were planning on it lasting, but holding strong and not allowing on that, I'd say is, a win in their book of sorts.
And we can move up the lineup a little bit to talk about this fourth line. And I will say I don't love this. Gavin Brindley only played 4 minutes total tonight. Zakhar Bardakov only played 3 minutes and 54 seconds. This is a game where the Avs never trailed. Neither of them took a single shift in the third period. Mm-hmm. And I get it. Bednar doesn't trust them to protect a 1-goal lead to some extent. But he also doesn't trust them to help them come back when they're trailing. Mm-mm. So you're putting yourself in a corner where there is not a lot of times you can afford to play these guys if that's how you're going to treat it. And again, we're in a back-to-back situation. Now, thankfully, the Avs spread the minutes out pretty darn well through their top 9. Their top time on ice forward was Nathan McKinnon at just a hair over 20 minutes. So it's not like they played them into the ground. But for a game in which you never trailed, do you have to find ways to get them out on the ice a little bit more?
I think if that's the case, I understand you got to dress a certain number of guys for a roster, but it just seems pointless to have them there. I think in my mind, if you're not going to trust that they can at least, keep the job from being done the other way, I don't know. It baffles me to no end. I don't understand it because with the way especially Brindley has played, I feel like some of that is unjustified.
I would agree.
I don't know.
Brindley was on the bench for the third period, so he wasn't hurt or anything. And again, Bardakov played even less than Brindley did in this game. Mm-hmm. To be fair, in Bardakov's 6 shifts, I didn't love it. But like you said, at 4 minutes, you might as well ice a 7th defenseman at that point.
Right.
You're not getting any value there.
No, and thing is, with the way Gavin Brindley has worked his butt off so far through this season, and Jared Bednar's even said it multiple times too, and saying this is a guy who's earned his spot, not due to injury, but due to the way he's playing. Okay, then why is he only playing 4 minutes in a situation like this? If he's earning that, this is a guy who you trusted enough to a point to put on both special teams units in a situation, a guy that you trusted to, get the job done out there for your guys at that point. Yes, you're playing against a top gritty team in Vegas, but if you trust him that much and you like how much he's performing, and that's the reason you're keeping him on this roster, not solely for injuries, but because of how he's playing, where is the trust? Why is that not there?
You either got to trust him eventually or send him back to the Eagles.
At this point, only playing 1 shift in the second period, not playing anything in the third, that's just a detriment to his development at this point, especially for a guy who has absolutely earned his spot. Not just going off of Bednar's comments, but just from the eye test, the way he's performing statistically.
It's too good to be a 4-minute-a-night guy.
Yeah, no.
It's too good.
Absolutely.
And if we're honest about it, we all know the secret answer to getting the fourth line more minutes is Logan O'Connor comes back into the lineup.
Oh, yeah.
And then there will be all the trust from Jared Bednar all of a sudden.
Which is unfortunate, but I will say I'm a little excited given what I predict is going to happen when he does come back, to see a guy like Logan O'Connor play with a Gavin Brindley and see what kind of
real high energy line that's about to be.
Oh my gosh.
Parker Kelly in the middle's got a motor too. Not that Bardakov doesn't, but it's a little bit faster and looser with Bardakov at times for sure.
I don't know. 4 minutes is it's disappointing.
Low. It's too low. I'm with you on that. I'm not going to read too much into it because again, the Avs played well tonight. They won the game. if it ain't broke, don't fix it to a certain extent. But I would like more for those guys in a certain stretch of hockey. We do need to take our first break of the show, though, so let's make sure we're jumping over and hitting up our sponsors, as they do a lot for us, including Christie Sports. I've used Christie Sports to rent my skis for the majority of my life. My family would always go to them because they have 50 different locations everywhere you love to ski and ride, and it's not a recurring thing. You can get season rentals through Christie Sports, so you have your skis or snowboard for the entire season. You just treat them like they're yours until the end of the season when you return them back. And the great part is you can get 20% off those season rentals when you book online at the link down below in the description and use code DNVR20. So make sure you hit up that link, whether you're a skier or a snowboarder. You can book with peace of mind and enjoy risk-free booking and free cancellation before you pick up your skis or snowboard. You got to make sure you get in before November 23rd, though. That is when you can get the great discount. It's easy to do it that way and have your gear on hand when you go up there. And they pretty much pay for themselves if you ski or ride just 5 days this season. So 3 days for kids. It's even better. Jump in. They give complimentary tuning all season and free size swaps if they don't fit right. So get with Christie Sports. Again, link down in the description to go rent your seasonal skis. DNVR 20 gets you 20% off. And once you got your skis to fuel up on a snow day, that's when you go to Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's has it all, whether you want their hand-battered chicken fingers. They use premium chicken breast tenderloins to make the most tender chicken fingers possible. The cane sauce, of course, goes on everything and is absolutely delicious. Tangy with a little bit of spice and full of flavor. Their crinkle-cut fries are extra long and cut from grade A potatoes. And then they have Texas toast, too, and coleslaw, if that's your thing. So a little bit of everything from Raising Cane's. They also have their drinks served over a refreshing crust ice. You can try the famous tea, sweet or unsweet. They also have got lemonade and more. Cane's tea is freshly brewed all day from filtered water and sweet tea with 100% pure cane sugar. So you know you're getting the good stuff with Cane's. Go hit them up. One love. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. Absolutely delicious. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Do we have the 3 stars good to go? Let's hit up the 3 stars and then we'll get back into some of the other things. Star number 3 is me. Not actually me. Brent Burns. Brent Burns.
You're telling me I haven't been doing a watch along with
I hate
Brent
to disappoint
Burns.
you. Yeah. You don't want me to sign anything because my handwriting's horrible. So, but Brent Burns ends up scoring the game-winning goal. He jumps into that play and makes a huge one. And the reason I want to talk about Brent Burns is more than just that goal, because the goal does matter, and I'm just not that upset about the one he gives up because, again, weird bounce, stuff like that happens in hockey, and it ends up not having to matter because of the goal he scored earlier. Mm-hmm. So it makes that goal that much more important. But number 2, his defense was actually very, very solid at 5-on-5 tonight. It wasn't the best possession numbers, but a lot of that is the push from Vegas in the third period where most of the Avs lineups numbers don't look awesome. Brent Burns was on the ice for 0 high danger chances against in this game. And that's exactly what we talked about in pregame for this Avs team. You needed to not give up too much high danger to Vegas to win this one. And he accomplished that as a guy on the Avs second pairing.
Yeah. And this is a guy who maybe I haven't loved his game so far this season too. I think this was a nice little bounce back. And it's showing that improvement is happening. That switch from, systematically doesn't come instantly. But I feel like slowly but surely he's been kind of assimilating himself into this blue line. And it shows tonight. Yep. You see, I don't want to call it old, visions of the Brent Burns of old, I guess.
Some of that he's never getting back, for sure.
But you see glimpses of that today where he's pushing up offensively and can be a reliable defender and shows for it in a goal.
Yep.
Here tonight.
It was funny in his post-game interview. You can tell there still is a little bit of adjusting to Av systems. He talked about in the first period there was a play he didn't jump in the rush on like that, and Nate just was like, come on, man. Yeah. Give it the picture. Jump into this. Mm-hmm. He does it in the third period, and it works out in spades for the Avs. So really good to see. And Brent Burns has, 5-6 points on the season now? He's producing at a very good clip for what the Avs are expecting out of him. Yeah. He's not perfect. Again, I'm not trying to tell you that. That puck does go in off of his stick, even if it is a funny bounce. You would like that to not happen. Mm-hmm. But still, an important player for the Avs in a game like this one against one of the best teams in the league. Star number 2. And this one is, look, Makar had a multi-point night. You could have gone other ways with this one. But how nice is it to see the Avs second line coming alive and finding production, and Brock Nelson doing exactly what he's paid to do here?
I have one word for this. Finally.
Yes.
Thank God. It's what we've wanted to see through the 10-game segment is maybe, not on the score sheet. Again, process is there. They're not bad by any means, but that they were missing that kick of production. And finally start to see that coming to life after some reshuffling of the middle six. And I really like this configuration so far. I don't think it's there's a correlation between, Brock Nelson getting on the board and the shuffling of the middle six. There's
100%.
a reason that this configuration is working. They seem like they're clicking. The chemistry is there. I'm incredibly pleased with how Brock Nelson has looked, especially through the last 2.
We talked about this, I think it was after game 9 or maybe it was game 10, where that next set of 5 games was going to decide a lot for Brock Nelson. And so far he's come through with goals. He gets you into overtime in the New Jersey loss, and then he gets you a big goal today. He now has 3 goals in 12 games, which is a 20-goal pace.
And that's what you want from your second line center. Maybe you'd like more, but if that's all I'm getting out of a Brock Nelson, I'm content. I am satisfied.
Yeah, he does need to pick it up on the assist side as well. Like, the production needs to continue. I'm not saying, okay, he scored 2 goals, everyone's happy, but I'm a lot happier than I was when he had 2 points.
It's an upward trend,
right?
I think, which is the reason why I am so excited about it, because it seems like it's not just there's something not working with me. Like it is, okay, we can fix some things. Let's talk about, maybe some things we can push here and there to get that finishing going for you. And something has clicked. Something has worked. And Brock Nelson is looking like the Brock Nelson the Colorado Avalanche need him to be.
100%. And you mentioned it, the shuffling. Again, I think that line looks pretty good tonight, even if maybe Colton and Nichushkin didn't necessarily get on the board. A lot of great puck hunting from Nichushkin tonight. That line continues to be a legitimate threat. It's not a line that teams can just shrug off and say, we'll just put out whoever against these guys and be fine.
No.
And that's what it needs to be. So props there. Huge goal from Nelson for the Avs too. It feels really good to be able to rely on that a little bit more, hopefully, going forward. And then star number 1 is obvious tonight. The man with the $92 million contract. Marty Necas has a 3-point night, scores the first goal of the game beautifully, ends up with 2 key assists as well on the Burns goal, and then 1 from the empty netter. But, Avs looking pretty smart at this moment, are they not?
Josh Manson, said it best post-game. You'd think with that $92 million extra dollars in his pocket, it'd slow him down a little bit. And that's not the case at all. Martin Necas is showing he's earning it early. And I love that situation just because he continues on this trend. Again, 11.5 looks incredible. So, you want to see an upward trend. You want to see him, break career season after career season. And that's what he looks like he's on track to do.
Am I reading too much into this to say, is Marty Necas the type of guy who the pressure off with that deal done, is the pressure off, which allows him to play a little bit freer and maybe, not that he's been bad this season by any stretch, but is he a guy that, will we see his game elevate without that extra factor of a contract that he's thinking about every day?
Compared to last season, absolutely. He doesn't strike me as the kind of person, especially given how he talked about the contract on the day of signing, that it wasn't much of a stressor.
Coming for a couple days.
Yeah, so it wasn't really something that the Avalanche or him and his camp were worried about getting done. So I think that, I don't think it, swings the meter in any, given direction. But again, I mean, we've already seen him start to pop off this season. We've seen him have a great start to his season. We saw that last season as well. Difference is he looks like he's gelling so much better with this team than he was with his previous team.
He's fitting in great. I mean, look, no later than that third goal where, look, sometimes you have a wide open net to shoot at 40 seconds into the game, and he finished that, and he deserves the credit. But to enter the zone, let both of his line mates change, create enough space that Brent Burns can get all the way up the ice into a soft spot, and then make the pass execute. Mm-hmm. There are not a lot of guys in the NHL that have the ability to do that. And with a guy like Necas operating at that level, you always worry these guys sign their contracts and then they go through a little lull. Necas said absolutely not.
No, and we hear all the time about the smart player that doesn't really show himself, in pressers, the smart player that is Nathan MacKinnon. But to have a player of similar caliber, to have not only talent-wise, but hockey IQ-wise as well. This is a guy who can read the puck and read the ice really, really well. And I mean, going through that whole goal with Brent Burns, like that's a perfect example of it. This is a guy who knows when to be selfish when he needs to turn that on, but also has a great read on where his teammates are. Yeah,
it's fun to watch Marty right now. Honestly, it's fun to watch that entire top line.
They're buzzing.
Did Nathan MacKinnon have his best game ever tonight? No, but he found ways to be effective.
Yep.
And I'm not going to sit here and tell you Nathan MacKinnon is ever going to be an even good defensive forward, but there are plays tonight where he has a nice back check. The top line is the line out there with the empty net that ultimately gets it in. They're trusted to be good enough. Just don't put them out there for 3-on-3 and you'll be fine. Mm-hmm. And I do think we need to see more of that from MacKinnon.
Yeah.
His bad games this year are ones where it feels like he's not being particularly effective. And MacKinnon was effective in the offensive zone. It wasn't perfect, but had multiple 2-on-1s with Necas. He shot one, made a good save. He went for the pass on one that it didn't quite work. And it's a night that you can live with because you get 3 points out of Necas on the other side. So the duo of them can kind of help lift each other up at times.
Absolutely. And I will say, in regards to a Nathan MacKinnon too, we've seen some defensive spurts out of him that have been very non-characteristic. And, he's improving in that sense as well. But it's like we talk about those big mistakes and neutralizing a lot of those. A lot of those big mistakes are the ones that really hurt Nathan MacKinnon, the talk around Nathan MacKinnon's game. And if he can learn to neutralize that, I'm not saying he has to become, a full two-way player by any means.
He'll never be that.
Yeah. It's never going to happen. But if you can sit there and neutralize those big ones, which he's an elite player, that's something that should be within reach for him. But also kind of capitalizing on some of those defensive opportunities that he has. That's what makes an elite player.
Where does tonight fall on the scale of the Avs just beat one of the best teams in the NHL versus one of the best teams in the NHL had a bad night?
I think capitalizing on any sort of game like this against a top team should be considered a win. It's still, bad night or not, they still almost gave this team a bit of a scare where they almost got back in this game. And that's something to be commended, and that's, characteristic of a top team like Vegas. So to sit there and get the win and push and grind and battle, like we mentioned, this was going to be a grind. This was not going to be an easy win for the Colorado Avalanche. And even though Vegas might have had an off night, it still proved to be that. This was still a grind. This was still a game that they had to earn every single minute of. And they went out and did that. There's nothing to shirk away from this being a top team in the league. The Avalanche deserve to have maybe a couple minutes of bragging rights about that.
Is it nice to experience a win that is a little bit of a different fashion? This was statistically the Avs' worst third period of the season as they go even with Vegas on the goal totals, which I know that's silly to say, but a game where the Avs have a better first two periods instead of maybe waiting till the latter part of the game to really kick it into gear.
It's nice to know that it's possible.
Yes.
So I think that's the first thing I'll say on it. And that might be my biggest point is you know that it's possible. You know it can be done. This team has the ability to create early starts and to play top minutes in the first 40. And that, I think, should be something that they go back and take a look at as well. Something that can improve their game down the line. Because I don't think I think was just an off night for the third period. You see Vegas start to kind of push back a little bit.
Yep.
Wheels are starting to kind of churn a little less for the Colorado Avalanche, but by no means this is still by all means an elite third period team. But they show they can be elite through all three.
Well, and you said it, right? Vegas is too good a team to flounder around for 3 straight periods.
No.
You knew the push was going to come from them. And again, I don't love the penalties, but beyond that, I really think the Avs handled their pushback pretty well. Yeah, a fluky goal goes in on you, but you scored your insurance goals. You didn't go away and just try and turtle this game out. You made sure you did what you had to do as a team to get the job done if you're Colorado. So very commendable. We do need to take our second break here as we can shout out a few more of our sponsors, including Game Time. If you want to go see the Avs play in person live, go see the real Brent Burns, maybe go get your tickets through Game Time. Of course, you can go get tickets to any sporting event, Nuggets, Broncos, I think the Mammoth, the real Mammoth, the lacrosse team Mammoth, they're starting up their season, not the fake Mammoth in hockey. You name it. You can go see it all. Even if you're not in Colorado, they have every sport ever. They even have more than sports, including things like concerts and the theater. And you can always find fantastic tickets on Game Time. You can save money by using things like the section selector, getting last-minute ticket deals, or using the Game Time Picks feature. Search for the tickets that you want, and Game Time will filter out all the junk and only show you the best tickets for the best price. So get with Game Time today. Sign up for your account and use code DNVR, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase with Game Time. Of course, terms do apply, but create that account with the DNVR code for $20 off. Tap Ticket Go. Download the Game Time app today. And then, if you're going to the game, you might as well throw some bets on the games. By the way, hit a plus 1,100 Brent Burns goal today if you followed my bets. So, not too bad. You're deep in the money if you'd followed that one on Bet365. Sign up today with code DNVR365 on Bet365. Put $10 in your account, bet $5 on anything, and you get $200 in bonus bets. You put some of those bonus bets, you get $25 to bet with each one of them. What's that at $1,100? That's like almost $300 that you win. More than that, it's a lot of money. You could have won a lot of money if you put your bonus bets on Brent Burns today with Bet365. Of course, they've got all the sports under the sun. You can bet on what you want. In the NHL, if you pick a team to win and they get up by 3 goals at any time, you get paid out automatically. So if a crazy comeback happens, your bet still hits. Jump in, Bet365 with the DNVR365 code. Again, bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets on a new account with that code. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Of course, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. I do feel like there's a good number of things to talk about. It's just going to be a recurring conversation. I don't have a ton to say about it tonight, but the power play technically goes 0 for 2. One of those power plays was 10 seconds long. I'm not going to be upset on a night when you go 0 for 2, but the one power play the Avs did get was just not dangerous.
No, not compared to Tuesday's game against New Jersey where they're shooting like crazy.
Yep.
You don't see that. I don't think we saw the first shot attempt. What was it? Until
like
90 seconds in?
Yeah, crazy deep.
If that, it's disappointing when you see them put up a performance like they did on Tuesday. The only opportunity that you have called with the way this game is being called to not capitalize on the one opportunity you have. It is disappointing.
It's a situation where you can help put this game away too, right? And again, I don't mind how the Avs closed this game. They never trailed. All good. But you could have been up 3-0, and maybe that third period is a little bit easy for you. You put the game out of reach, and you keep those legs a hair fresher for the second half of a back-to-back. And if you're trying to maximize things, that power play could have mattered.
Yeah, I think it could have. But as you kind of said, it's not the most important point to talk about here tonight. Yes, putting that game away, making that third period a little easier might have been, ideal.
Yeah.
But again, this is a game where the Avalanche did not trail for a single minute. They held on to every single advantage that they needed to. You could see, again, the penalties kind of make that a little difficult, but they hold on.
Yep.
And this is a game ultimately they have the hand on.
Yep. I know when teams start the comeback trail, it never feels good when they're closing the gap and making the goal within one. But the reality is that's most hockey games. Mm-hmm. You're not going to run away with games all that often in the NHL. It's too competitive of a league. And a close game that you win feels a whole lot better than a close game that you're chasing and ultimately lose.
Mm-hmm. No, not every game is going to be like a Tuesday against the Devils. And even then, you see a situation where
it got close for a second.
You get a little scared. You start sitting on the edge of your seat just a little bit.
Closer than you would have liked, for sure.
No, it's that. And defensive breakdowns like that, again, the constant conversation in this locker room all year has been playing a full 60.
Yep.
And, from minute 1 to minute 60, you were playing the best hockey that you can
pretty
possibly
darn good
play.
Tonight, yeah.
I love what Victor Olofsson had to say about it after his hat trick. Was it's just not sustainable. That's not hockey.
Yep.
That's not what not every game is going to be like that. You'd love that, and that's what you strive for, but that's just not how games work. Some teams are better than others in certain sections of the game.
Yep.
But ultimately being the better team through most of that 60 is what's going to win you hockey games. And being on the other side of that, even if it is a close game, even if they, get a high danger chance or two in the back of the net and bring it close, still being able to call that a win, that 2 points is 2 points.
Right. And it's the responses were there too. When the Avs maybe weren't playing their best hockey in this game, PK picked you up. Mm-hmm. When you give up that goal on the power play to Vegas, you survive the push, and then you get that goal back. Mm-hmm. When a bad bounce goes in the back of your net, you lock things down for the rest of the game. Vegas barely even got a shot on goal, I think, once the game got made 3-2. And then you ultimately close out with the empty netter. It's playing a full 60 isn't necessarily being the best team the entire time, but it's not letting those stretches where maybe you're getting outplayed. Okay, you answer back. Mm-hmm. You're consistently able to do the next quality play on the ice.
Yeah.
Chat, we need 6 more likes to get to 100. I want to do my winner shots. Can you help us out here with a few more likes? We would very much appreciate it. I want to dial back because the line we skipped over was the third line. And they were actually the Avs' best possession line at 5-on-5 tonight. So they absolutely did their job to quality. And they even end up with a point. The Brock Nelson goal is a weird situation where they just cleaned up a penalty kill. And Jack Drury is the guy who stretches the ice, finds Nelson on that play, and gets the assist. And you're looking at a line that, you still need production out of your top 6. I don't know that they're necessarily taking pressure off in that regard. But in the same way we talked about, Jared Bednar doesn't really trust the fourth line guys right now. I think Jared Bednar trusts the third line absolutely to a 100% extent.
I was going to say, before we get into this, do we want to
Sure. Let's do it. Thank you for the likes, chat. We appreciate it.
Cheers.
Can we get some Dr. Dubs in the chat from our Supporters Club members? We'd very much appreciate that.
Yeah. No, in a situation where you're seeing the bench being shortened in a way that is maybe not, in my opinion, fair to the fourth line, that third line is a completely different story. And It shows given the amount of minutes that a guy like Jack Drury is earning on any given night, especially with a very PK-heavy game like this one.
You're going to put him to work, although he did take 2 of those penalties.
He did take 2 of them, but it's, I don't know, just given that situation and the fact that Bednar still trusts him as much as he does is showing of the kind of player that Jack Drury is.
Yep.
I love going back to the conversation of can he be an elite 3C, and he's shown to be that.
The steps are there, yeah.
And it's during plays like this where he connects with a Brock Nelson. I have said it before, and I'll say it again. This is a guy who is an elite hockey IQ guy. He sees the ice like nobody else I've ever seen. The vision that he has, the touches that he has on a nightly basis, the way that he moves the puck, the way that he defends the puck, he seems to be everywhere and in front of everything. Blows my mind.
And I do think the Avs may have found something here with Landy on this third line. Not that it wasn't good before, it was. But you now have a higher-end offensive ability guy in Olofsson on that line. You have Jack Drury, who's great defensively, works super hard, can be that center for you. And Landeskog came into tonight's game and was just an absolute beast along the boards for the Colorado Avalanche in this game. He would go in there, he would run into dudes, he would win pucks, he would battle. He draws the Avs' only real power play of the game. And you got a version of Gabe Landeskog that makes sense in this game. I think some people are probably a little bit harsher on me of what Landy has done through the first portion of this season, but the version of him you got in this game, good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. It creates a top 9 for the Avalanche that if you're getting what you're getting out of Brock Nelson right now, if you're getting what you're getting out of Val Nichushkin in the early part of this season, Olofsson's been awesome. We already talked about him and Drury. If that Landy piece falls into place, I mean, how deep are the Avs? It's ridiculous.
You're talking about a second line too, and a Nelson and a Nichushkin who they know how to turn on the motor when they need it.
For sure, yeah.
And that's a part of Landy's game that, nothing that he can really help at the current moment, just kind of falling back into regular season hockey that he can really help.
Yep.
And the third line just seems like such a better fit for him and the role that he's playing on this team because of that. Because the third line is a very crafty, I would say, line.
It's a good way to put it, yeah.
The second line, where Landeskog can utilize a lot more of his body and he can get into dirty areas and be that creative segue into a lot of those goals. So, I mean, it just seemed, the chemistry on the third line to start the season was amazing and incredible, but it seems like with the versatility that a lot of this middle six has, you're finding that chemistry click again, and it's fun to watch.
It is. The Avs are a really fun team to watch right now. I think that's, even through their losing streak, they were a fun team. It's been a lot of fun across the course of this season to watch Colorado. Even when they're not playing their best games, they're a threat. They've trailed by 3 against Carolina, clawed all the way back. They've trailed in games where they've clawed all the way back. When you give this team a lead early in games, I guess not the Boston game, but many of these games, the Avs are going to put you all the way into the ground if you let them get out in front of you early. So the quality hockey from top to bottom, particularly in the forward core through that top 9, it's really good. I know we like to sit here and say, oh, you want more production here. Oh, you need that. And some of that is true, but don't get lost in the sauce on that. And remember that the Avs are really, really good with this forward core right now.
Yep.
I did want to jump back to the defensive side, though. We talked about Brent Burns, but the Avs had 4 points tonight from their defense, 2 from Cale Makar. Devon Taves also gets on the board. You also feel pretty comfortable with this time on ice split, better than what the Avs are doing with the fourth line. Taves played 23 minutes, just shy of 23 minutes with all that PK time. Makar was up at 26:41. That's a lot. Little bit of context there. The penalty kills in the third period. 2 defensemen were in the box, so the Avs were a little bit pressed on the defensive side, had to pick up a couple of more minutes. But you got 19 minutes out of Josh Manson. Brent Burns played 21. Malinsky up at 16. Solovyov a little low, but 11:27. It's not like he's down playing 8 minutes or something. The Avs defense has quietly kind of figured it out over this last couple of games. We were seeing a lot of Makar heavy lifting on the production side, even if Malinsky and Burns were maybe getting their points where they needed to. But Taves has started producing. You're getting quality minutes out of Sam Malinsky pretty much every night since Girard has gone down. That's not true. But outside of that one game where Malinsky and Solovyov were a disaster, Malinsky has been quite good.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I'm going to go as far as to say I didn't mind Solovyov.
Yeah, he was fine
during this
tonight.
game.
No real
I think
issues.
this is a really nice bounce back game for him, especially after the disaster that was his last one.
Yep. You're not asking him to be a superstar. You're asking him to go out there and just be good.
Yeah.
And he
He
didn't
was that.
have major issues tonight. So
No.
yeah, you're good with that. Are we peaking with the Avs defense? Is this as good as it gets, or is there more?
I think there's a lot more left in the tank for this team. This is the surface level of what I think we see from Devon Taves. And he's one of the guys who I can't really find too much of an issue of what he's doing on the ice.
He's so good defensively.
He's
so good.
really good defensively. But this is also a guy who's come out and scored a couple game winners for you. He can be a threat offensively. That just has not come out to shine the way that it did in spurts last season. That's just a give it time.
Yeah.
This is something that Devon Taves will figure out. I'm not worried about that at all. I love Devon Taves defensively, though. Josh Manson, he's kind of like Brent Burns in a way for me in that discipline. I'd love to see curbed a little bit more. And not just on the penalty side of things, but just bad defensive plays, pinching where pinching's not necessary, getting caught in sloppy areas of the ice. I'd like to see that fixed a little bit more, but overall he's brought a certain amount of grit to the defense that not very many other areas of the defense have. And that's an important aspect of his game and something that's been really, really valuable to this Avs team.
Yeah, the decision-making is always an adventure. That's kind of the Josh Manson experience.
Yeah.
You're going to get some bad ones in there. And I don't think there were any, the Avs didn't give up a 2-on-0 tonight. There weren't any that bad from Josh. So I do think in some regards it moved in the right direction tonight. And I do think the Avs did a good job of limiting the number of high-danger chances they gave up to Vegas as a whole across the night, at least at 5-on-5. Again, the power play is bad. Don't do that. But we saw across the board, and this isn't just the defense, this is the Avs as a whole, credited for 22 blocks in this game tonight. That third pairing of Malinsky-Solovyov, 7 between the two of them, 4 for Malinsky, 3 for Solovyov. And that is what you're asking your third pairing to do. They're going to have to play without the puck sometimes.
Yeah.
They're going to have to find ways to be effective defensively. And the willingness to give up the body, I think it shows the Avs understood the score here. This is an important game against a good team. You might need that little bit of extra willingness to make a play that you have to make, even if you know it's going to sting a little bit tomorrow. The Avs stepped up and did that top to bottom in the lineup.
No, absolutely.
So
I have nothing more to add there.
it's a good spot to be in across the board on that defensive side. And yeah, I'm giving the Avs all the credit in the world in this game. No. I really am on that front.
And I love your question, too, of is this as good as it gets for the Avs defense? This is an Avs defense that is missing a decent puck mover in Sam Girard.
It's going to get better. The same way Logan O'Connor is missing from the forward core. There's a lot to like, and regardless of play, there are guys that are going to help you coming in the next 7 to 10 to 14 days.
Yeah.
So just to run through a little bit of the numbers tonight. Avs technically outshot attempted 46-49 at 5-on-5, but they won the Fenwick battle because of those blocks, 36-29 in that regard. Scoring chances pretty even, 24-22 across the game, but high dangers, 8-5. The Avs across this entire game at 5-on-5 only gave up 5 high danger chances to Vegas. That is nothing.
This is a team we talked about in pregame being a high percentage, high danger chance shot team.
Yep. And
to limit that and neutralize that the way that they did. Again, this is some of the best on best hockey of this season. This is not as best on best as it gets for the Colorado Avalanche, but it's pretty darn close. And again, it is a good measuring stick for this team to be able to pick apart that impressive stat. And I don't want to dismiss that at all. That is an incredibly impressive stat for the Vegas Golden Knights. To neutralize that in the way that they did is nothing short of impressive.
You're sitting here in a spot where the Avalanche, where you shouldn't be afraid of anyone right now with this season. You're obviously at the top of the West with your record, which is great. And I think, obviously there's some warranted fears or PTSD or scar tissue, whatever you want to call it, with like, oh, well, they can never beat Dallas and all this. And like, sure, if you want to be afraid of that and cross that bridge when we get there in the playoffs, fine. But the Avs have gone out and proved that through portions of this season. All right, first 10, some easy teams, and they win most of those games against easy teams. They lose a couple to some of the better teams, but they keep those games close. They prove that they're an extremely hard team to knock out of a game. They're never going to let it be free for you. And now they've turned the corner into starting to win those games against quality teams and do so in a way that looks really good. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any surprise that the Avs are the favorites in the NHL right now.
No, absolutely not. We talk about the domination at 5-on-5. We talk about the elite penalty kill that they've put on. We talk about how dangerous this defensive core is.
Yep.
And starting tomorrow, you get your starting goaltender back with the way Scott Wedgwood has performed, this is an elite tandem in the NHL. This is a terrifying team in the NHL. Once that power play gets going the way that it is too, again, New Jersey's a one-off until they prove me otherwise.
Yeah.
But once that gets going at the elite level that I know they can perform at, this team becomes unstoppable.
I certainly hope so. My next topic was going to be that Blackwood is back tomorrow, and we'll see if there's rust or whatever, but I'm not too worried about that in the long-term picture, which we're looking for here. Which, Tiff, do you have the next 10 graphic? Is that a thing we have? Because we can pull that up. And if the Avs are hitting a stride here where they're playing some of their better hockey, it's a good time to do it. There's going to be a lot of downtime next week. Obviously, the San Jose game coming up is maybe a weaker team. But then you're going to hit a couple of quality teams for the Avs. You have a Tampa Bay team that you know is tough. Obviously, the Oilers are good. What is Vancouver this year? I don't know. We'll see. And then you get back to a stretch of, you should probably beat the Ducks. You should probably beat the Sabres. You should probably beat the Islanders.
The Rangers can be a wild card.
Yeah, but they might get shut out. They might score 7. I don't know. It depends.
That goal horn's had some very shaky use this season.
But Colorado continues to be a team that, early in this season, I think it felt like, hey, the Avs are the team maybe marking down some teams on their schedule we want to make sure we show up and play our best against. Now it feels like teams should be marking down the Avs on their schedules.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I feel like I'm kind of overhyping the point of measuring stick, but that's really what this becomes, is the Avs are kind of an overarching, this is the kind of team that we want to be in the NHL, or at least that's what they're becoming. Yeah. But there's also something to be said, too, about, yes, you're playing best-on-best hockey with teams like Vegas, like Dallas, like Carolina.
Yep.
But each team has their own kind of things that the Avalanche can use as a measuring stick, too, and say, like, they have some elite scoring. Can we neutralize that? Oh, their power play is really good. Maybe they're not the best team in the NHL. This is something we've got to learn how to shut down, or see if, is this a team that we can shut down? Their penalty kill's insane. Can we find lanes through that?
Yep.
And that's, again, we talk about how hockey is such a weird sport.
It is.
Any team can win on any given night. Bad games happen. Great games happen. Meh games happen. Kind of, sort of like the one tonight in a way, who's less sloppy. But there's measuring sticks all across the league. To say that the Avs are the biggest one, though, I feel like is not a stretch of the imagination.
They're at the top, that's for sure. Bailey, favorite Halloween candy?
I've always been a Reese's girl.
Good answer.
Yeah.
I am a Reese's guy as well.
Peanut butter chocolate. It's an elite combination.
I don't even like chocolate usually, but you put it with some peanut butter, I can dig
And
that.
I will say specifically because they've gotten this combination very, it's gotten off somewhere in the last couple of years.
Are you about to go off on
Specifically-
the ratio of chocolate to
Yes.
peanut butter? Because I'm
Because-
right there with you, girl.
No, the pumpkin ones, the egg ones, like the seasonal
Yeah.
Reese's are
No.
the best ones.
They're awful. No,
I love the seasonal ones.
Two
No.
different ratios on it here. I think I prefer the original normal Reese's as well, to be honest. But I will eat all of them. I don't actually care.
I like the cups, like the small ones,
The,
not
like,
like the
baby
minis, but like
cups?
no, not the minis, but like just like they used to come in like a silver
Like
wrapping.
they come in the wrapping, like
Yeah.
the gold,
Yeah.
whatever. I know exactly
Those
what
ones.
you're talking about.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect ratio.
All right.
So.
We're Team Reese's. Brent Burns' backpack's got all sorts. It's got Kit Kats and Milk Duds and all sorts of stuff.
Got
in
all
there,
sorts
so
of candy in the
Yeah.
office today.
We got good options on that front. By the way, great time to become a diehard if you want to help support us and also go read all the pieces. Bailey already has our instant reaction piece out, so you can go read that. And I'm sure AJ's Studs and Duds will be up later today or tomorrow. So lots of great content over there. We also put up a roundtable today if you want to.
That round table's a good read.
Yep. Jump in.
I liked our answers there.
Would tonight change any of those answers?
I'm feeling a little good about running back my Brock Nelson answer now,
True.
maybe.
I call the Nature's contract good, not great, but feels pretty great
I'm
after
feeling good
tonight.
about my answer there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good stuff there. Go check it out. You also, when you become a diehard, you get a free shirt with your membership. You get discounts here at the bar. Bunch of other awesome stuff. So go check that out. Also, just to keep an eye out, I don't even know if it's up on our website yet, but we are doing 3 takeovers this year. The first one is January 11th, and we're doing the suite takeover. So if you want to come hang out with the DNVR fam and experience an Avalanche game in a suite, that's the way to go. You can go to thednvr.com/events there to see if it's up already. If it's not, it'll be up soon. So
I'm lucky that was one of my first ever game experiences when
Nice.
it was in a suite. It's an experience like no other.
yeah, I've had the opportunity to be in a few, and it's awesome.
It's really nice.
Highly recommend. So get in on that stuff. You can get in on our other takeovers too over at thednvr.com. Last few minutes of the show here as we are winding down the Halloween show. Where do the Avs strike the balance of we're playing good hockey, we're seeing the results we want now, especially over these last couple of games. How do the Avs keep engaged and don't let complacency start to sneak in?
At this point, the next 10 games are almost irrelevant to me. Like, yes, or at least the matchups, like the specific, like, game-by-game matchups. This is a situation that Avalanche should be looking at themselves and saying, we know we're a good team. We can go out there and prove it no matter who is on the other end of the ice.
Yep.
It should not be a letting off the gas or stepping further on it at all in the next 10 games. It's that I don't know. That's my simple answer, is that this is a team that should be going and performing night in, night out, regardless of their opponent. They know they can be dangerous on different aspects of the ice. They may have to shift their game here and there depending on the strong areas of some of these teams. But this is a team that can be dominant in multiple different areas.
Yeah, they absolutely can be dominant in nearly every area on any given night, I would say. I called it a free roll, but realistic expectations, even if it is a back-to-back tomorrow, should the Avs beat the Sharks?
I think so. Maybe extend themselves a little bit more than you'd like to see in the third period, but this is a team ultimately is able to get the job done today. They're going to go in with some good momentum tomorrow. They've got, again, the comeback of Mackenzie Blackwood. Hopefully, at least that's
Should
the
give them some
prediction, the
juice for
expectation
sure, yeah.
For Mackenzie Blackwood. And that, again, juice, they've got the momentum from the win. Ideally, you come out of this trip with 4 points.
Would be real nice as the Avs continue to perch themselves towards, if not at the top of the Western Conference. I don't have a whole lot more to add. Anything else you wanted to touch on, Bailey?
No, I think we covered everything.
All right. I love it. I will say before we get out of here, also a great time to become a supporters club member. If you want to sign up for that, you get a bunch of emojis. We've got a few more emojis that are on the way soon, I think, for Avs games. You can join us for the watch-alongs and spam those. You can throw it in the chat right now if you want, whatever it might be. Maybe we do get Mad Mac tomorrow. Maybe that's the key to beating the San Jose Sharks.
What was it that I called him today? Seldom upset Mac. No, I think, I don't know. Mad Mac's always nice to see, but if you could just get, regular Mac who knows how to score regardless, I think there's
that'd be cool. That would be enough, probably.
Yeah, probably, maybe.
All right, we are going to wrap this thing up. We appreciate all y'all hanging out with it. Hope you have a great rest of your Halloween holiday if you celebrate. If not, I hope you have a great rest of your regular day. We're out of here. Thank you for watching. This has been the DNVR Avalanche post-game show presented by Bet365. We will see you for the same time, same thing tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.